listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest, Scott Huml, Tactical Mitigation Specialist, is with us. Welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Glad to have you with us. And let me remind you, if you ever have any more finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Good morning, Roger. Jiffy Pops, huh? What's that? Let's just get a glass of wine instead of Jiffy Pops. I don't know about that Jiffy Pop idea, but we can go for that one. Have a good time out there. Glad to see you out there, Bill, Tom, Sergio. Glad to see you all with us this morning. Got a great broadcast lined up for you, but I will share with you before we get into the topics of the day: water, fire, restoration. Got a lot going on here, so here's a couple of things. Let's look at, first off, celebrations. And I thought that at first I saw National Pickle Day. And then I saw National Spicy Guacamole Day. So I thought that we would just go with a little guacamole there. Give us some good chips, glass of wine. We're in good shape right there. Looking at the markets this morning, Dow Jones Industrial Average down 46 points. Oil down $1.21 a barrel. That's a nice pop in the downward direction on oil. But unfortunately, even though we live in Taxifornia, it probably won't have any effect on our gas prices. Looking at the national average, $2.56.1. Here in Taxifornia, we do lead the nation, $3.23.6 per gallon of gasoline. $3.23.6. We are just ever so slightly ahead of the oil-producing state of Hawaii. Yeah, I haven't seen any oil drilling there either, but in Taxifornia, we like to lead the nation. Highest taxes, highest gas prices. If you need gas, though, Alabama, $2.26.5 a gallon right now. $2.26.5. Alabama for gas, no, sorry. You're at 231.9, Neville. 231.9 is a gallon of gas in Louisiana. 323.6 here in Taxifornia. Unbelievable. Moving right along. We're also looking and seeing what is happening in the bond market. The U.S. 10-year Treasury, 2.38 is the yield on that one, coming down a little bit. That means we should see some downward pricing or pressure on mortgage-backed securities, interest rates for your mortgage loans. So think about that one as well. We do get that report every Thursday morning. They'll be telling us where those numbers are. Got some guidance this morning on the markets. October PPI rose 0.4% from September. Consensus was a 0.1%, so we have a little bit of a beat there. 2.8% higher than a year ago. Now, I know some of the liberals are going to tell me it's all Obama's policies, and that's why PPI is going up. Well, I don't really think so, but we'll see if we can figure that one out. You know better than that, I think, though.
You know better than that.
Well, yeah, even they know better than that. Think about that one. What else do we have on the core PPI? 2.4%, again, higher than a year ago. Little reaction to that data. Interesting, very fascinating watching what's going on in the world today. We're seeing a lot of news coming out of GQ. Unbelievable. Can you believe, I mean, where does that magazine come off? Are they like the worst magazine in the world? Although they did make one smart move. Think about this one. Being that GQ came out with Colin Kaepernick as their man of the year.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Colin Kaepernick. Now, if you would have said J.J. Watt, he raised $37 million for flood victims. What did Colin Kaepernick do? He can't even get off his butt, can't get a job, got a big mouth. Yet he's their man of the year. What does that tell you about the values of GQ magazine? I know what it tells me. It tells me that...
nothing like a little air of superiority.
Yeah, and I think that we ought to try and get the former president, to pipe in. Let's see if he's...
So I know whose ass to kick.
Yeah, who do we talk to over there? What a bunch of idiots. Moving right along, Peter King still in the news talking about his high price of taxes in New York. Obviously, we're about the same area here in Taxifornia. The tax plan, you know something, I've shared this with you before. Think about this concept. You get these idiots like Javier Becerra, Nancy Pelosi.
But we have to pass the bill so that you can find out what is in it.
Think about these folks. They go out there and they continually poke the president in the eye and then wonder why is it that the president comes out with different proposals that are not favorable to their communities. Do you think that maybe they would have had a better going if they would have not been so arrogant in these areas? Just a thought right there. Moving right along. Attorney General's in the news today, Jeff Sessions. He's actually finally stepping up to say something about an issue. No reason to doubt Roy Moore accusers, according to our Attorney General. Of course, he's also the one that hasn't done anything with the Clinton Foundation, so we got to wonder about his issues. Recused himself from anything to do with Russia. What's he doing over there? Just got to wonder about something. I wonder what he's going to say about the UCLA basketball players caught shoplifting in China. We'll wonder about those as well. I wonder if he'll come out and have any commentary there. You just have to wonder, some of these things, how do you make some of this stuff up? Where do you find these issues? Simply amazing to me. But they are saying there may be a new investigation into the uranium deal with the Clinton Foundation. Just a thought right there. Roy Moore, you have to wonder about that one. Why is it that after 30 years or 40 years, these people are all coming out of the woodwork? What prompted them to come out now? Did anybody read Cheryl Atkinson's book, Smear? Maybe they're going to find that answer in her book, Smear. We'll think about that one as well. But now we understand the playbook. Volvo, they're decided they don't want to advertise on the Sean Hannity show anymore. Yet Keurig found out just the opposite, because they found that their clientele is saying, you know something, if you're going to pull out of Hannity, we're going to stop using the Keurigs. Think about that concept. It goes both ways. Smear, huh? Well, what is it? Media Matters. They're the ones that are behind a lot of that crazy stuff. President heading back, I guess Thursday, he's going to be visiting the House of Representatives. I'll tell you something, I don't know about you, and I know the majority of our audience, 30 to 55, 60 years old, I'm in that range, on the upper end of that range, and I've made my share of trips to the Far East. It's amazing when you watch the amount of energy this president has. I don't care whether you like his politics or dislike his politics. 12 days in Asia, going from country to country. Have you ever done that before? Have you even done that in the U.S., gone and traveled that much? He's coming back from a different time zone where they're actually 12 hours apart, 14 hours apart, depending upon which part of the trip he was on. Be back. He's going to be in Hawaii today for a little while. Come back to D.C. probably tomorrow, and be back at work at the House of Representatives on Thursday. That's a lot of work, and that's a lot of time consuming. And if you're a young person, the thought right there is crazy. But I mean, as somebody in his 70s, holy cow. Moving right along, you gotta love this one. Columnists. Let's take away everybody's gun. So most sane Americans know that a mass gun confiscation is not going to happen in the United States, but that hasn't prevented the Boston Globe editorial writer David Scharfenberg from engaging in some very wishful thinking. He wants Democrats, when they take power, to engineer a massive gun buyback offering as much as $500 per weapon. Really? Do you think that anybody's that's going to follow through on that?
This is ridiculous.
Here's the issue. And nobody can answer this question for me. I don't understand why we need gun control. Why don't we just have a law that says no murder? I think we already have that one. The crooks don't follow the law. Why don't we have a law that says no mass murder, no shooting in churches, no shooting in schools? We already have those laws. Interesting concept right there. There's a lot going on. We'll see what happens there. Tennessee State University, they are now in the news, probably not happy about it. Caught on video viciously punching and flooring one of the assistant coaches. We couldn't do that when we were playing football, but I guess maybe that's a new issue. Latrell Lee, a 240-pound defensive end, has been booted from the team and thrown out of school after hitting assistant coach TJ Greenstone. I wonder what school's going to pick him up next. We'll see about that one. And California in the news once again. The state of confusion increasingly seems like a nation unto itself is determined that more than half the state's pregnancies are unintended.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
Let's see, birth control ready available, or so it seems, but 350,000 babies conceived by accident. Let me just share a little bit, and I'm not very good at science. It's not an accident. It happens by design. Now, if you need a biology class or a life science class, maybe we should start teaching that in the schools. But it's not an accident when you have babies. It's just the way it is. I think there's some biology involved. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, fire, water, losses. Do you need to go hire somebody to help you manage that? Who's going to represent you? We'll talk about it. Will debt consolidation help you or hurt you? Your credit scores do, that is. Mortgage interest rates are going up. Should I wait to buy? And does an employer match count towards your 401k limit? All that and more. You can reach us anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. On Twitter, @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Did you know that banks and credit bureaus are rewarded financially if you have bad credit? And the worse your credit score is, the more money they can make off of you? How does that make you feel, knowing that banks are getting rich off of your hard-earned money? How does it make you feel, knowing that if a bank or a credit bureau makes a mistake on your credit report, they benefit from it and it hurts you? The Fair Credit Report Act of 1971 requires banks and credit bureaus to report only accurate information, and nearly 100% of all credit reports are inaccurate. If you're sick and tired of being broke and tired of being robbed by the banks, you owe it to yourself and to your family to call Rondi. Rondi is a FICO-certified credit professional and has helped thousands of people just like you get out of debt and establish great credit. Rondi's number is 855-608-1990. Again, that's 855-608-1990. Or visit creditsanitizer.com. Again, that website is creditsanitizer.com.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to exchange without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission, lending partners will give a credit at closing, the title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. In the Mortgage Minute today, being brought to you by our friends over at Gold Star Mortgage. When you're ready for that next mortgage, Gold Star is the only one with the fast pass loan approval that has been known to save people $5,000 to $50,000 on the purchase of their home. Think about that concept, where a seller will knowingly and willingly and enjoy the idea of selling you their home for $5,000 to $50,000 lower than another offer because you've got the fast pass loan approval. Give me a call at 800-306-1990. I'll explain that whole thing to you and then put you in touch with our friends over at Gold Star Mortgage. Mortgage interest rates going up. Should I wait to buy is the question. So we've seen by reported Freddie Mac has reported increases over the last several weeks, along with Fannie Mae, Mortgage Bankers Association, National Association of Realtors, all calling for mortgage rates to continue to rise over the next 4 quarters, cause some purchasers to lament the fact that they may no longer be able to get that 3.5% mortgage or below. We realize that the current rates are still at historic lows, so let me chat with you about that part. In the 70s, the average rate, 8.86%. In the 80s, are you ready for this one? 12.7%. 1990s, 8.12%, and the first part of this century, 6.29%. Last Thursday, Freddie Mac reported, we gave that number to you, 3.9% was the mortgage rate. 3.9% was the Freddie Mac rate. So even though you might have missed the lowest mortgage prices that has ever been offered, you can still get a better rate than your older brother or sister did 10 years ago, a lower rate than your parents 20 years ago, and a better rate than your grandparents did 40 years ago. Think about that. If you haven't acted already, let's get on it. Give me a call. Put you in touch with our friends over at Gold Star Mortgage. That is the Mortgage Minute today. Let's chat about another issue that you know I understand because I've been there. Fire, water, restoration. Scott Huml is with us. Tactical mitigation. Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Glad to have you with us. We're Fire Water Restoration Company. So tell me a little bit about what you guys do.
So I focus on emergency services. We extract and dry down buildings. We board up windows and garage and roofs after fires.
We know a little bit about that here in North Orange County.
A little bit. There's been some fires here recently. A couple fires recently. Not a lot of fun. We're doing a lot of structural cleaning, inside, outside, attic.
So I'm a big proponent that great counsel doesn't cost you anything. That, you know, if you need an attorney, you hire an attorney, and the return on that investment should be beneficial. You need a real estate professional. Don't try and sell your house on your own. You're going to come out with a better solution. I've got a bad knee. I'm not going to really try and do knee surgery or knee replace myself.
I agree.
Right? So how does that affect when we have some of these home issues, because right here in Orange County, every day I hear about somebody else with a slab leak or a water leak.
Well,
how's that affect there?
There is a very complicated industry inside the insurance restoration world of contractors, insurance adjusters, public insurance adjusters, and there is a lot of politics involved. Insurance companies are assigning jobs to their vendors, and as an emergency guy,
so I don't have to go with the, if I have a water leak in my house and the first guy I call is my insurance agent and he doesn't do anything, so he tells me to call an 800 number and they say call that guy in the green truck, I don't have to call him?
No, you absolutely do not. You have the right to hire your own contractor. You have the right to hire your own people. The insurance company's duty is to pay the bill. How you determine the bill is really up to you. It's all, the burden of proof is always going to be on the homeowner. So you should definitely have somebody that is not part of the insurance world that knows how to speak the language and fight the good fight, because if the insurance company can dictate the loss or control the loss, they're absolutely going to try. And if you don't ask the right questions, they don't volunteer information.
That's an interesting point. So they're not going to tell me what I'm entitled to. It's kind of like on a real estate transaction or going to court, right? The judge isn't going to tell me what I'm entitled to. He's just going to.
Your policy is a legal document. You have an agreement, a legal contract with your insurance company, which is your policy. They know how to interpret it on their behalf. It's up to you to.
They wrote it.
It's up to you to know how to interpret it on your behalf. And if you don't, again, they're going to try to pay as little as possible and control it as much as they can.
That's their job. I mean, not to say anything bad about the insurance companies. Their job is they're in there for business.
They're big business for a reason.
Right, absolutely. So how do I, as the little guy, as me being a consumer advocate, how do I try and what do I need to tell our listeners so that they can kind of be on an equal footing or a fair playing field?
Don't go to court without an attorney.
Okay.
You want to have somebody on your side.
I don't want to go to court because the guy the most money wins in court.
Absolutely. So I make my money by doing the work. I don't charge a percentage of your claim.
So doesn't you go into somebody like you doesn't cost me extra?
No, I again, if there's an insurance claim there, usually with a broken pipe or a fire or car into a building or something where there's an insurance claim number, that's all I need as far as a guarantee for my money. I don't require a deposit or anything like that from my client. The authorization and the claim number allows me to do what I need as a mitigation company to stabilize your building, lay the foundation for your claim, kind of make sure that the insurance adjuster is in agreement with everything that I believe needs to be addressed.
So you're going to be the first on scene. Is that the way I understand that?
Many times, yes.
Okay, so I'm assuming, again, I've shared very, very open, very candid, that I have no clue how to use a screwdriver. Right? I've imported millions of them.
Okay.
But I don't know how to use them.
Fair enough.
So when you come in and you say, okay, Ron, you got a pipe leak here, we need to bring in 75 fans and dry this thing out and maybe cut a hole in the wall so we can get in there and you don't want any mold or any of those things. You're going to have a good idea of what's approvable, because you're going to get, really the insurance company is going to pay you most of the money. I have to pay my deductible.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to communicate everything with them, make sure that they understand what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. If there's anything that I need approval for, such as testing, you're talking about cutting walls, and if your house is of a certain age, then in the state of California, we have to make sure that there's no lead or asbestos in the paint or in the walls before we cut them. So a lot of times we'll have to get testing for such, and then we continue based off of the test results. We'll figure out what the course of action is, whether it's an abatement or we can go ahead and start with the demo and stuff like that.
So my assumption would be, and I'm going to ask you to tell me whether I'm right or wrong, is that if you're first on scene, you guys obviously have been doing this, you know what you're doing, you've dealt with insurance companies, you're going to have a good idea of what needs to be done. right? I mean, I don't know whether
we're the ones doing it.
Right.
So, yes.
So, I mean, even for the rest, from the repair side, the after the fact, to getting my house back to the way it was, you're going to have a good idea of, does that cabinet need to come out or not need to come out?
Correct.
Right? Absolutely. It's a lot better than me who says, it's wet.
Absolutely. Anything that is wet or needs to be dried, obviously we're going to address during the emergency. But if there is, smoke damage or water damage that is affecting cabinets or built-in furniture or stuff like that, then it's absolutely stuff that we need acknowledgement on. Whether or not they're willing to pay to replace it right now might be a different conversation down the road.
Okay.
But at least allow me to touch it and attempt to restore it. And if that attempt doesn't work, then replacement may be an option down the road. But I'm not so worried about the final dollar amount in the beginning, because insurance claims are open-ended and they often tend to change. So as long as we're talking about the agreed upon scope of work, then if specialty items or specialty trades come into play during that scope of work that's already been agreed upon, then I will get a specialty bid item for the electrician or the painter or what have you.
So then what I'm hearing, which is something new to me, is that it's more important to agree on the scope of work than the dollar amounts.
100%.
Interesting. Okay, so now we got to figure out who's going to deal with the scope of work and who gets to be the one to negotiate with the insurance company, and how do we do all that stuff. So we're going to talk to Scott when we come back about some of those issues. And again, who can negotiate the claim? Do I have to hire a lawyer or adjuster or a public adjuster, or who's going to be looking out for me? And actually for you is more important. So we're going to talk to Scott about that when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. We'll also talk about debt consolidation. Will it help or hurt your credit scores? And does the employer match of a 401k, does the matching part of the limit? We'll talk about that as well. You can reach us anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. On Twitter @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Siegel Lending Team offers you buying power. Let's say you can afford a monthly mortgage payment, including principal and interest, of around $1,900. With today's rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage of 3.75%, APR 3.85%, that payment could support a $416,000 mortgage. But if you wait and rates tick up to around 6.5%, which is roughly the average home mortgage rate over the past 30 years, that same $1,900 mortgage payment, including principal and interest, may only be able to support a $314,000 mortgage. That's over $100,000 worth of home you're missing out on by waiting. That's buying power. All you need to do to get started is reach out to the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Payment example excludes taxes and insurance. Call us for full details. 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 or SiegelLendingTeam.com. Equal housing lender. Licensed under NMLS number 217037.
Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel lending team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel lending team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel lending team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without loan. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Do you own real estate or have assets over $150,000? Do you know one of your heirs will be the probate courts and the IRS? If you don't have a living trust, you will go through probate. Call Heritage Financial Services toll free at 1-855-434-7400 for a free review. Check us out on Facebook, Heritage Financial Service in Lake Forest, California. That's 1-855-434-7400. Again, 1-855-434-7400.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. In the Your Credit Matters segment today, being brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit report? It is wrong. I know that because they're all wrong. I've never seen one that is not wrong. I've seen the highest credit score I've seen, 834. I've told you that before. 834. Really good credit score. Excellent credit score. 850 is the perfect score. I've never seen an 850. But 834, and there are still errors on the report. So I understand that. You're going to have errors on your report as well. CreditSanitizer.com, you'll get some information on a regular basis to help you improve your score. And if you need a professional to help you, Alan Hayon does that for us, very reasonably priced. Will debt consolidation help or hurt your credit? Student loans, house mortgage, debt accumulation, they're pretty stressful. They're pretty overwhelming. Then you start looking at this time of year and the holidays and people are trying to figure out their budgets. A lot of people get into some serious mental problems, and that's the thing that I want to make sure that you are not part of. Don't worry that the finances are finances. Try not to let them take you to the mental problem or a catastrophic problem. We see a lot of issues there. I've heard a lot of people even committing suicide based on the stress of finances. But the question now is, debt consolidation loans, do they help or hurt your credit score? And getting a new loan to pay off other debts is the most popular way to consolidate. Certainly what most people think of when they consider consolidation, but finding a loan that has decent terms and is designed specifically for the purpose of consolidation can be challenging. Now, I told you that the Freddie Mac mortgage rate, 3.9% as of last week. For debt consolidation, you're probably not going to be looking at that kind of a rate. It might be a little bit higher. But I promise you it's going to be less than the 20 or 30% that you're looking at on credit card debt. It's going to be less than the 8 to 10% on student loan debt. So if you've got some equity in your property, that might be a great way to look. And what I share with people all the time is don't worry about what your house interest rate is. That's only one component of your overall picture. What is your blended interest rate? That's more important. Blended interest rate takes the weighted average of all of your interest rates. And again, obviously your home is going to have the highest percentage on that. It's probably your largest debt. So think about that. What is your weighted average? Now, if you've got a weighted average of 5, 6, 7, 10% of on your debts, and you've got a 3.5% mortgage, Does it really matter what that mortgage is at 3.5%? If you've got a 6 or 7% blended average for your whole house, you're sitting on equity that's doing absolutely nothing for you. Let's take some of that equity, redeploy it. Is it going to hurt your credit score? No. The only way it'll hurt your credit score is, number one, if you close those credit items. The recommendation under the debt consolidation will be pay them off and leave them opened, and don't run up the bill again. Don't go on another vacation. Take the same amount of money that you've been paying for those high interest rates and pay a little extra principal on your home loan. It'll help you out. It'll get that debt down quicker. And, you know, just as a selfish thing, the banks are not going to make as much money. Isn't that a shame? I should have a crying sound effect here for you, but they're not going to hurt. Believe me, they've got more than enough money, and it'll be better for you. That is the Your Credit Matters segment, brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. So we are talking Scott Huml this morning. Tactical Mitigation Specialist is their company. Smoke, soot, and odor removal. Got some odor in my dog that makes a little bit of a bad smell there, but we'll talk about that one. Water extraction, dry downs, content pack out, board up. What a lot of stuff you guys do. You're a busy guy.
We've been a little busy lately. Yeah.
That's a good thing. I mean, it's not good for people to have these issues, but it's good that there's a service out there looking out for them.
It is, and we help people every day. That's what we try to do.
So before the break, we were talking about the idea of the different issues that go on, and developing a scope of work, and understanding that the insurance claim is open-ended. That even though you've got the claim may come in saying, okay, we're going to pay $1,000, that if the scope of work takes $2,000, that's still going to be part of the process.
I just turned a job that started at $1,800 and ended at $70,000.
$70,000?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Scott, story time. No names, no cities. What happened?
There was a water loss. They had some water leaking or entering from a roof that was kind of stuck in their wall a little bit, and they didn't. The insurance company came out, paid them $1,800 to fix and paint their wall, and they didn't really address the problem, and it turned into mold and affected some floors, and they ended up ripping out all the floors, remediating the mold, and at the end of the day it was packing out their house, about $70,000.
Holy cow. Okay, so now here's the big question then. How do we deal with all that? Because, I'm a layman. Well, I won't go that way, right? But it's, I don't understand this stuff. So do I do it myself? Do you negotiate with the insurance company? Do I have to hire a lawyer, a public adjuster?
So there are a few different people in the state of California that can manage your claim, I guess you can say.
Okay.
A lawyer who, as we know, will take upwards of 30%. Public adjusters, which can take anywhere from 10 to 20%. A public insurance adjuster is not an insurance adjuster that works for the insurance company. They work for homeowners and the public. They do not work for the insurance company. They're not lawyers, so they can't file suit. But what they do is they are licensed by the state to interpret your claim, your coverage, kind of negotiate some of the policy stuff.
So let's take it for a simple guy like me. So you've got a public adjuster that's out there working in the public arena. Mm-hmm. You've got the insurance company adjuster. And then I hear these things when they have these major catastrophes, like in Houston.
They're called independent adjusters.
Independent adjusters.
Or IAs.
Okay, so who does the independent adjuster work for?
So they typically are hired by the insurance company in most cases when there is a large catastrophe situation where they're overwhelmed with claims and they can't get all their employees out there to put eyes on them. They'll hire independents to basically, for a fee, go out there and write an estimate. And then they hand it over to the desk adjuster and he kind of moves on to the next one. So they're the eyes and the ears of the insurance company. They go out there, they are someone instructed to pay for what you see and get out.
So they're not going to be the one that's going to be hanging around for the whole life of the project?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so then me being, again, the lay individual, I look and say, okay, the lawyer, he's typically going to take a third, so I don't like that idea. And the public adjuster, he's going to take, 10 to 30%, so he might be a better idea. And he's out of from the 3 you've told me about, or 4 you've told me about, well, he's the only one that might be working for me.
The third one is the homeowner. So if you...
But I don't know anything.
Well, that's where I come into play.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good, because I say that all the time is, right, I mean, one of the biggest things that we promote, and I don't mean that from a self-serving standpoint, is that we need professional guidance. We don't know what we don't know.
Right.
Right, and you got that contract that was written by the insurance company, and we know it wasn't for my benefit. Right, and they build those big old buildings, and I know that that's because they make a lot of money. I don't begrudge them. But I want my house fixed.
Yeah, and they're actually probably not making as much money as you think anymore because of all the stuff that's happening. They're tightening up a little bit.
So you mean I got to get a tin cup from my insurance guy?
They're spread a little thin. But okay, it's even more of a reason why you need an expert on your side, because the insurance adjusters that are coming out now are a lot of times newer and don't really understand what the scope of work needs to be. And
okay, now you've got me. I'm a simple guy, so you've got me confused.
That happens.
Okay, so I guess you've listened to Ron Siegel Radio. You know that I'm confused easily.
Yeah.
Okay, so
it's like poker. It takes 5 minutes to learn and a lifetime to master.
Okay, gotcha. So you told me that a lawyer can do this for me, and a public adjuster can do this for me, or I can do it on my own. But I need to know what I'm doing, and I don't know what I'm doing. So how do I do it on my own?
So and that's kind of what my business is as a tactical mitigation specialist, as an emergency services contractor. My job is to perform the emergency, mitigate any further damages, prevent it from getting worse, secure your property, what have you, and then at the same time educate you a little bit as to how this process works and kind of what to expect from your insurance adjuster, what to expect from your contractors, the process, learning patience.
Okay. So there's
learning how to ask the right questions ultimately. Look, if you don't know,
worry. Everything's going to be fine. Trust me.
If you don't know the questions to ask, again, they're not going to volunteer them. So my job is to kind of teach you to ask questions I already know the answers to.
So that sounds like a lawyer, right? They ask the questions they already know the answer to.
It's an interesting business.
So I like that concept, because one of the big things, again, that we like to do here at Ron Siegel Radio is educate people. So with your focus is really, it seems to me that the water and the fire restoration mitigation is going to be a small piece of the whole pie.
Absolutely. It's the foundation of your claim.
Okay, so it's the foundation of the claim, but it might cost $3,000-4,000 to mitigate the water, whatever. I have no clue.
Could be more.
Could be more, right? Whatever. But it's not going to be like you look and see over at the catastrophe we had here in Anaheim Hills, right? And some of those houses needed some board up, and some of them needed to. The board up portion is not going to be nearly as expensive as the reconstruction.
Well, so what we're doing here in Anaheim is we're doing a lot of the structural cleaning, interior, exterior, structural wipe downs, pressure washing the exterior of the house, cleaning all the soot and debris, pulling soot and odor-ridden insulation, encapsulating the attics, cleaning from the top down every nook and cranny of your home, all your personal property. Some are obviously worse than others, but after the cleaning is done, oftentimes the scope changes, because now we have to talk about painting and the insulation that the insurance company is wanting to spend a couple $1,000s for. Estimates are 5 times that to put it back. So how do you, as the layman, go from $1 amount to a higher dollar amount without knowing how to play the game? So my job is to teach you the game and how to ask the right questions that, again, we already know the answers to, you're entitled to. It's just a matter of asking them in a certain way.
Interesting. Okay, so when we come back, I want to talk about who's going to meet with the insurance company's adjuster. That's going to be our next question, because I don't know what to say to him. I know you just told me you're going to tell me what to say, and I can listen pretty well. We want to talk about that when we come back. Who meets with that adjuster? Who has that conversation with them? You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, more with Scott Huml, tactical mitigation specialist, and does the employer match count toward your 401k limit? All that and more. You can reach us anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Most businesses struggle to get the online reviews they need to get a competitive edge over their competition. Rex is a brand new technology that uses text messages to direct happy clients to your online review sites, Zillow, Google, Facebook, and Yelp, and unhappy clients to a private survey, so businesses can win more customers. Try Rex today by going to www.meetrex.com. Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed-rate loan below 4.25% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $295,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,400 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or 1-800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
Do you have a goal of mortgage-free home ownership? What if your home was valued at $500,000? Are you aware that a free and clear home could be costing you $2,500 every month, $30,000 per year? The mortgage planners at the Siegel Lending Team would like to show you how you can own your home, generate tax-free income, and accumulate family wealth. You simply need to call the Ron Siegel Team at 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990. By sending the team a copy of your most recent mortgage statement, the team will send you a no-obligation real estate plan. You be the judge if this is right for your family. Again, all you have to do is send a team a copy of your mortgage statement by email to reap@ronsiegelradio.com or call today. Ron Siegel, 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990.
Rate subject to change and without notice. Licensed by the California DOC and BRENMLS 217037 and 145502 and Cal BRE 01869452 and 1866775.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Word on Wealth segment today being brought to you by AskAboutReverseMortgages.com. Are you 62 years of age or older? Do you have equity in your property or want to buy a new home? A reverse mortgage can be the right solution for you. Let's chat about it and see if it is right. I don't know if it's right for everybody, but there are that group of people that it is beneficial for, and it's not the last resort anymore. Used to be a last resort program, not anymore. Does an employer match count toward the 401k limit? You might already be familiar with the 401k. I've shared this with you before. The only money you ever want to put into a 401k is the part that's got a significant match, because just because it says match doesn't mean it's significant. You can have a 5% match, you can have a 50% match, you can have a 100% match. Is the match significant? The whole idea of the 401k, the way it stands right now, is for the government to take more of your money. That's the purpose of a 401k. They tell you, now there's a part of the tax plan that we're looking at right now is to change it around so it's better for you. Pay taxes on that money today, and when it grows, don't pay taxes. It's called a Roth IRA. They're looking at changing the 401k program, but people don't listen to all the details, and they hear people like Nancy Pelosi coming out and saying everything's bad and the whole world is horrible, and doesn't read anything.
But we have to pass the bill so that you can find out what is in it.
Right, but here's the issue. So Al Manfrey has a program that's going to get you a whole lot more money than your 401k. Take the free money. If you've got a good match, take it. That match does not count towards your limit. And when you put money in with Al, there's no limit as to how much money you can save for retirement. Keep it deferred as far as the earning income. And when it comes out, he might even show you how you can do that tax-free as well. Think about that concept. That is the Word on Wealth segment. If you want me to introduce you to Al, give me a call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Continuing our conversation today, we are chatting with Scott Huml, Tactical Mitigation Specialist is the name of his company. We've been talking about water and fire and restoration and my lack of knowledge. Many of you probably have the same lack of knowledge that I do. So let's continue our conversation with Scott and find out. Before the break, Scott, we were talking about the idea of who's going to meet with the insurance company. Who does that? I mean, being that you told me that I don't really need to have an attorney, and I don't really need to have a public adjuster. And I already told you that I really don't know what the heck I'm doing. So who does all these meetings?
So ideally, the people doing the work. So in the emergency case,
so before you go too far, because earlier you said the only ones that can negotiate a claim is the lawyer, the public adjuster, and me.
That can negotiate a claim, but I can, as a contractor or the people doing the work, we can still talk about the work that we have to do.
Gotcha. Okay, so that allows you to talk.
I can't talk about policy stuff. For example, in your policy, there might be a difference between best method of repair, like what is an acceptable method of repair from the insurance world and the contractors saying this can be done versus what I'm entitled to in my policy. Two different things.
Okay.
So as a contractor, we can talk about what we're doing on the loss and what we feel needs to be done. But if it becomes an issue where the adjuster is pushing back a little bit and you have to get into your policy rights and legal wording, then either yourself as the homeowner or the aforementioned public adjuster or attorney will have to be the ones interpreting that policy. But again, if you know how to ask certain questions and can interpret the language within your policy, you can do that. And as the guy doing the work, we're able to talk about what needs to be done and why we're doing certain things.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So now, and I don't want to get too far into the weeds with all of this, especially as from an insurance conversation, because that's not what we're here to do. I understand from my own experience and dealing with additional living expenses and fair rental value, and that's outside this scope. The insurance companies, if they're going to pay additional living expenses, they want the contract signed yesterday. Do I have to do that? Do I have to rush into all these things?
Absolutely not. There's, in order to sign a home improvement agreement in the state of California, which is the rebuild portion of an insurance claim is usually multiple phases. There's
you used a term there that I was told I couldn't use.
What's that?
Because you said home improvement agreement.
Okay.
And when I spoke to the insurance company, they said, well, we don't improve your home. We just restore it to its prior, I don't know what the right wording is. Put it back the way it was.
Pre-loss condition.
There we go. Okay. I knew that you'd know the right wording. Right? Okay, so I'm not improving it. It's pre-loss condition.
But the contract for the construction is considered is an HIA, a home improvement agreement.
Okay, gotcha.
So that's the building contract in the state.
Gotcha. Okay, so now we're on the same page.
And that requires a few things that are undetermined at the time of a loss. It requires a start and completion date for the work, progress payments, dollar amounts. It can't just say, per the insurance scope. There has to be dollars and pennies attached to the contract. So in the beginning, and that's another topic that maybe we can do another day, is the predatory side of the business, where people are trying to force these contracts in the beginning that aren't necessarily legally binding, but instill the fear of cancellation fees and stuff like that if you change your mind down the road. Even though it won't hold up in court, the contractor may scare you with liens and stuff like that. So, and that's a very real.
And that becomes a scary thing, because I've just had my house, flood or fire or something, and now I've got somebody talking about.
A lot of the contractors and public adjusters are working together. So if you do hire the PA, then they're going to control the claim and the money and the communication. So
that's a whole nother subject, show.
That's a whole nother show.
Holy cow, we may have to get you to come back here again. And it sounds like there's a lot to this, and most of us are just not equipped for it.
Yeah, well, you got to have the right people on your team.
And we talk about that all the time, right? I mean, my show, it's all about the area trusted professionals, your household board of directors, and it sounds like you need somebody like Scott on your team. If you want to meet him, give me a call. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. I'll put you in touch with Scott Huml, tactical mitigation specialists. Might save you a whole boatload. Did I just say save you a boatload of money when we're talking about hiring somebody? Think about that concept. We've talked about it before. We'll talk about it again, but make sure you set that first radio preset button to come back here every day to join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to John, who's engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money, help a lot of people, have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio. Hey, Fire Commissioner's on with us tomorrow. Fire Chief.
And I can be seen, times that I try.